Good evening, my friends. DC, thank you for letting me know. I just tried to stream and the audio wasn't working. So he saved the day. He saved me because I would have went off for another 10 minutes. Nothing more demotivating than that. So, okay, we're good. I'm going to start right away. The first news of the. Oh my god, okay. We're going to end this video with some really nice branching storylines from things that we saw in the past. I won't explain myself now because I would have to repeat it later. The explanation is pretty awesome. You'll see, because if you've been following the channel. So let's go. Let's knock these out off the bench right away. The observations. So we have 5 people being arrested when they were on board of the vehicle with multiple, multiple tools. Now, it's not too striking, this news, but as you'll see by the end of this episode or this show, I don't ignore these because later on there's a payoff specifically, and sometimes for the most unrelated stuff that you would think, and I don't know how it happens, but it does happen. After that, I'm vindicated. You'll see, I'll be vindicated later. But remember this one for the future. We got Valérie Côté, Shelley Parent Desjardins. So we have 2 women here on the list here. And both of them from Saguenay. Now remember, Saguenay, if I'm not mistaken, they're talking about the same Saguenay. That would be, I could be wrong, because sometimes the names are interchangeable, such as there's another area with that name. But Saguenay is a very peculiar type of name, and I love saying Saguenay Lac Saint Jean, and that's where Alboivin is from, bud. So that's his area, that's his territory, which he does not, which the Hells Angels allegedly are offering it to him on a silver platter now, But look at this. So we got arrested. They were on board of the vehicle, and they had multiple arms in there. We'll just leave it at that. We have a Jean-Philippe Desbiens inside of that as well, but he's from Saint-Constant. So they're meeting up with each other. They were in the vehicle, and they got busted. I don't know how. It says there was 4 people in the vehicle and another one in another vehicle. So what is 2 vehicles following each other with tons of Glocks in them doing? Huh? Tell me. Can it just be a coincidence? People driving around with multiple arms on them, 2 different vehicles, all of them from Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean. Now, my eyes just caught this here. It says the officers confirming that these 5 arrests are tied to the war of stupefyers. So there you go. We're right away. You could confirm this is not just two cars with people in them, and they happen to going hunting, like our boy DC. It's not that scenario here. So you could have that confirmation here. We just don't have more information for later, but we need to remember this. Maybe you'll remember. You got a better memory than I do. And the end part of this is just a summary of the year. We're gonna ignore that. Next one. Attempted offing in Quebec. A suspect of 27 was arrested. I did glance at this one, so I could tell you what I liked to see when they're saying that someone tried to off somebody in Limoilou. Once again, we enter red zone territory. Someone trying to off somebody else. We don't have more details than this, and just because it's the red zone, it doesn't mean that it has anything to do with the stupefier wars either, Could just be some guy who, I don't know, he got into an argument with someone, and he's angry because he stole his girlfriend. You know what I mean? It could always be that. But I'm kind of suspicious either way. I like to mention them. I like to look at them quickly, because then later, if it pans out to be something, we'll know that we did cover it. We're not just going to be surprised. And if it pans out to something and we find out in 2 weeks, good. It'll be fresh in our memories. But then they went to the guy's house. Of course, they're going to do a search. What's up, DC? Man in the middle, and Marcel Mathers. What's up, salut les gars? How you doing, my man? So Marcel and Man in the Middle in DC, some of my favorite people here. Makes me happy to see you guys all together tonight with me Friday night. We're just missing Adam Rogers, Adam Rogers, you're supposed to hop in right now and say, Forger, what did I miss? You give me a summary of everything that went down. And I was waiting for you, bud, so I can do that for you, Those 3 didn't request it. But yeah, it would have been my pleasure, bud. I was hoping you'd jump in right now. But I'm sure he's going to jump in later if he has the time. So here we have, guys, they went to his place. They found the Canadian money and just 200 units of M&M with 25 G's of, 25 grams of M&M. Nothing special here. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's about it. But he tried to off somebody, and it's in the red zone. Let's put it there. We'll put that aside. Okay. Next one: 6 warrants or search warrants and 4 arrests. Okay, and what area is this? We got SPVQ. So once again, we're entering the red zone. More arrests. Thank you, my man Mathers. I'm honored, pal. I'm honored to have you guys with me, man. I really, again, the red zone. We're getting red zone news today like crazy, man. Let's see here, man. Let me just zoom in. I always forget to look at the screen that you guys are getting. So sometimes you get half the screen because when I read the text, I don't see what you see. I only see my entire screen. But then I have to go on another screen, and it's micromanaging this stuff is hard. But I have to remind myself. Okay, now I see what you guys are seeing. It should be more clear for you. This one's for Wednesday, the 20th of November. 6 search warrants, 4 arrests that led to 4 arrests. Trafficking stupefiers last week. So they were doing a stupefier investigation. Makes sense. That's why they go up to 6 places after. You know what I mean? If it's like a personal beef between 2 people, they'll just have, maybe will get listed that they searched 2 homes at best, Here we are with 6 locations. You could have almost assumed they had something to do with stupefiers. And tells us, they're saying that the police have been really busy since the 13th of November. Look at that. So this is a 20th of November article. For the past week, they were real busy. And here, the arrest comes with a man and a woman, aged 50, for stupefier possessions. Another man and woman, 48 and 39, were arrested for trafficking stupefiers, assault, theft or robbery, sequestration. I'm not sure if that's the word in English, but when you're holding someone hostage, basically, and assault. Okay, we don't have more details in this. I wanted to see some numbers, but it's all right. But look, Limoilou and Charlebourg. They've been busy in that area, red zone areas. It continues. Now this one was I just want to double check here. This Limoilou. This one tells us is Charlebourg and Limoilou again. Now we enter Chicoutimi Nord. 5 people arrested, and is that the same news actually? I'm wondering if it's no. This is the same news. The one with the car, right? Is that the one with the car? I lose my memory sometimes. Yeah, it's the exact same news. We're gonna skip that same thing. Okay. Now another one. 2 traffickers pled guilty, so the news gets better and better. Now we're getting into the more hardcore stuff. And by the end of this, it's going to be very awesome. For me, anyways. 2 traffickers pled guilty when they sold cane to a double agent 22 times. So the police seized 50,000 units of M&Ms. Here we have a picture. If we can try to observe and find something, I could see cash money, Canadian, with rubber bands. I cannot discern this picture too well. It looks like a bag. I can't really tell. It has the color of a fire hydrant, but it's not a fire hydrant, obviously. It's just saying it's the color, but that's like me trying to look at this. At best I could say it's a bag. Then we have a black plastic bag here. We say I have the police ruler, just to give them the perspective from the photo for later on. So let's see what's going on here. Who are the 2 traffickers? Because they said 22 times. They sold M&Ms and cane 22 times. That's no joke. Oh, we got patchies there. So 2 traffickers of stupefiers, one of which is a close partisan or friend of the Hells Angels, has been found as being a central figure in the network, where members, without knowing, sold at 22 different occasions cane to a double agent of the police or an infiltration agent. Now, sometimes that means that there's a rat. There's a rat inside of an organization. He got pinched, and now he cannot do the time. He can't stand the idea, and the officer says, "You're screwed. You're really, really screwed. But how about you help us out, and you'll remain free." But when I say will you remain free, you'll remain free as long as you go on a mission for us. That's usually the case. Or very smaller percentage of the time, way smaller, it's a complete outsider that manages to join this network, to infiltrate it and become a member of it. And that was the goal from the beginning, from the very beginning. He was never involved in this. He's an actor, basically. Now, I don't know which one it is. It's an infiltration agent. Okay? Thank you, guys. Awesome. Oh, no, don't tell me the sound keeps coming off. Thanks for letting me know, guys. I do appreciate that. I need to know, Man, this sucks. I'm going to try not to move too much. I think because something's finicky with the wires and my USB port. It sucks, man. Because, man, even if I change ports, it keeps happening. I don't get it. But thanks for letting me know so I can know if I have to stop. But I'll try to stop moving. All right. So who are these people? We have a Carl Saint-Louis. We have a Kevin Big Majorin Chrétien. So Majorin Christian. That's his last name. Not very Christian, in my opinion. They've recently admitted at the courthouse of Longueuil. So we're talking about South Shore here. I thought we're still in Quebec. No, we're not. So we're coming to Montreal. This is a Montreal thing here. South Shore of Montreal. They admitted in court that they were pulling the strings of an organization active in the South Shore of Montreal. They have admitted their guilt. They had no choice. 22 times they sold it. You know how they always get away with it, or they explain things away with a lawyer. Well, the cops are doing a much more thorough burial these days. So good that when these guys appear in court, they don't dance anymore. They don't dance in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? When I mean dancing? Dancing with words, dancing with their lawyers. No, they're so screwed, they're basically admitting things now. That's how bad they got you when you admitting things. If you admit things in Canada, that means they got you by the balls. And as you could tell, 22 times they do. The documents deposed in court reveal now how the police managed to do this operation. Oh, what a fitting picture we have here, Looky here. We got the Marauders. Some of the Marauders have been coming on our news only because we spoke about their newest or one of the newest members that patched in last winter, I think, or maybe a bit before that. Anyhow, it was last year. He's a Haitian. His name is Jean-Philippe Célestin. He was the underling of Gregory Woolley, his pupil, and Gregory Woolley got offed, and magically, while Gregory gets offed, he gets promoted. I'm not saying he did anything. I'm just saying it's a very odd circumstance here. But he gets his mentor, or maybe he's no longer his mentor, who knows, he got offed. He gets to join the Marauders, and shortly after that, his brother of Jean-Philippe Célestin, the new Marauder, gets killed after leaving a wedding or a pre-wedding ceremony or something like that. And I believe it was in Little Italy or Plateau Mont-Royal. One or the other. You take your pick. So that's when these guys entered our show, that we started to learn and find out about them. And how fitting now, look at the territory. So we're talking about a bust. Seems likely it would be in the South Shore area. Remember, South Shore area is where Gregory Woolley lived, and that's where he died as well. And that's been his home for at least around 2 decades. And that's also where one of the strongest, or the strongest Montreal chapter of the Hells Angels is. They have the South chapter. Now I don't know if their bunker's still there, but I do recall they had something important presence down there, And they had a place. They were there for a while, and they had a notorious reputation. So you note that fact that now we got someone who's entering the courthouse of the South Shore. That's where he's being charged there. Possibly because he lives there and he does his business over there. Now, that's not too confirmed. I will get more details. So let's see what's going on here. Is this guy a member of the Marauders, or was he one of their dealers in the pipeline? It's Carl Saint Louis, two guys, Carl Saint Louis and Kevin Big Magerin Chrétien. Let's see. Let's continue this here. Sources. Certain sources first alerted the authorities in March of 2021 by mentioning that Magerin Chrétien was resupplying stupefyers from Saint Louis. That's another guy, right? The two people. We have Carl Saint Louis and Magerin. So Magerin was the one resupplying allegedly himself from Saint Louis. This last one, I guess they're talking about Saint Louis, is a member of the Marauders of Montreal, underling school of the Hells Angels. There you go. Confirmed. I told you, I don't read these articles. I read by myself. Usually I never do that, or rarely do that. But here you have it. Line by line, it's fitting the picture here. So it looks like Magerin Chrétien is one of the dealers in the pipeline, and he's resupplying from Saint Louis. So which one is Saint Louis? So here you have a back picture of all of them inside of a garage somewhere. Here's a front picture photo of them. Let's try to pinpoint who's who here by the names at the bottom. My apologies. Let me just go down like this. Okay. Carl Saint Louis and Kevin Big Magerin. Oh, no, they're not giving us. Usually they give you the guy on the left, the guy on the right. I was waiting for that, so I cannot tell you which. Oh, wait, they are. Give me a sec. Saint Louis is at the extreme right of this photo. Beautiful, easy to find. Extreme right. That would be him. Right here. You see it, guys? Saint Louis, the Marauder. Let's continue. 4 other people were later targeted by criminal accusations. They were also suspected of being implicated in this affair. So what are these 4 other people? Are these 4 people from this photo or this organization? I don't know. So they're saying there was various surveillance operations that was documenting their movements as well as their meetings of a couple of minutes with individuals tied to trafficking stupefyers in the underworld, basically. Kevin Magerin Chrétien, the 33-year-old, who was supplying himself from the Marauder, was situated with members of his own cell. Oh, no, of the cell numerous times. And how they were doing it is they put a GPS tracker on his vehicle. So the hitman put GPS trackers on your vehicle before offing you, and the police as well. You know, they're employing the same strategy. Now, during that time, different sellers concluded no less than 22 sales of cane to an infiltration agent. So here they are numbered, and it goes up to 50 here. Now, I cannot make out the picture if these are M&Ms or canes. I cannot really tell with this photo. So with this bust, the cops put their hands on 50,000 units of M&Ms. So this has got to be M&Ms. They put their hands on 50,000 units. You see it's numbered by 50, each bag. So, you know, I don't know anything. I'm looking at this. I'm assuming that each bag has 1,000. So that's why it's circular inside. You see, you could kind of see a circular form in each bag, right? That seems like this is M&M. Each one has, I guess, 1,000 units. Because they're counting 50,000, we have 50 bags. Makes sense. The money from these transactions were later found in the possession of Saint Louis, the Marauder, and also Magerin Chrétien. Okay? And that led to the search warrants. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if we can skip anything. So, during their investigation of this network, that led them to 2 locals of 2 enterprises. Now check the enterprise here. So they went inside of a warehouse or a business place of a transport company and a moving company. Interesting. So is that a trucking company there? Because they're saying transport. And also a moving company. Now, I don't know if they just mean a moving company. They call it transport and moving. No clue here. But they are located in McMasterville in Varennes as well. One of these locations had the look of a, how could you say, like a hang-around place. Like, sort of like a bunker for the bikers, the outlaw bikers. And here, I guess we have the photo of what they're trying to tell us here. You do have a counter right here with the Pepsi. It looks like a bar, like a serving people bar, serving people drinks, kind of thing. It says, on one of the floors of this business, there was a bar with a television. There was even a gym. And these are the pictures. Then there was an important... here you go. You have a banner here that shows the celebration of the 70th anniversary of the existence of the Hells Angels in different countries. This was inside that place. Here you go. The police also put their hands on a 9mm, a charger of high capacity, the 50,000 units of M&Ms, of course. 7,350 units of caffeine. So they mixed this with the M&Ms, And they also got a truck, if you will. I forgot what you call it, a tractor trailer. I forgot the words in English, but here you have it. There were 6 kilos of cane inside of it hidden. So, interesting. So you would think that this is not just a storage thing. They might even use these to move the cane around. Who's gonna think when you see the construction guy moving around with a semi-tractor or whatever? Who's gonna think that this is transporting cane? When you see the back, there's a heavy load. I don't know, construction equipment. Perhaps you see that. You see the guys working hard. You look at him and you say, "Damn, that's gotta be." When you're driving those big trucks, you're like, wow, that's a lot of stuff there, and you don't even think, it doesn't even go in your head that maybe in a compartment inside there's 50 keys of cane. Just imagine that. Here it is, picture of it. Almost close to $33,000 was seized. 5 cell phones, the baggies or the bags or whatever, not baggies, the bags that they were in, tow truck, I guess. The Riggs Gold says 31. The man of 31 years old. Let's see, just 1 sec. So we're talking about Saint Louis, the Marauder. The 31-year-old detained had equally jewelry and many clothes tied to the Hells Angels or the Marauders of Montreal. Here you have it. Their badge. There was also photos of Saint Louis in the presence of other bikers with their vests. That's the photo we saw here. If you're just jumping in. See that? And Saint Louis is, for those who just jumped in, the guy on the extreme right here. Now, so for Kevin Mirshahi, the guy who was the dealer who was re-upping at his place, when he searched his place, it was $10,000 there. Cell phones and a small quantity of rock inside of his vehicle. All right, that's it for this one. Let's continue. Is this the same article? Yeah, the same article. I don't know how I got this open twice. Okay, another one. This time it's Bas-Saint-Laurent. 4 suspects arrested with 18 kilos of cane. And I guess a van that was abandoned. What's going on here? Oh, this one. So there's something. The story started in New Brunswick, they're saying. I don't understand what they're trying to say here. But it looks like this story goes across multiple provinces because they're talking about Montreal. And then they're even saying New Brunswick here. I want to avoid reading the entire thing line by line. You feel me? In the beginning of the night, a van or a pickup, a F-150 Ford, black, with a license plate from Ontario that would have been implicated in a robbery in Edmundston, in New Brunswick, was located on Highway 20. That's a highway in Quebec, in Notre-Dame-de-Portage. So they know that this was implicated in a robbery in New Brunswick, and later it's found in Quebec. Okay. So then the patrollers, when they identified that vehicle circulating, they started to chase that vehicle, but they did not succeed. It seems like it got away. It disappeared without any trace. But later on, they did find the F-150, but it was abandoned. They finally found it, but the guys were long gone. The F-150 was there, abandoned. A little bit later, a witness contacted the SQ, affirming that an Anglophone man had just left him a bag that was filled with stupefyers, and that he was telling him, I'm going to come back to pick it up. Now that sounds strange. Did he just randomly pick you and said, hey, you better keep this for me, some random bloke? Or did he bump into his friend and said, no, you gotta hold this for me, my old friend, you gotta. And the guy's like, I don't want it. And he said, no, you gotta hold it for me, bro. You gotta do it. You live here, you live around here. Please put it home. And the guy couldn't say anything, but after the fact, he's like, wait a sec. And he betrayed his friend. He called the cops. I don't know. I don't know. Just putting it out there. So this guy decided to call the cops. Either it was a stranger or it was a friend. It has to be one or the other. Now, the police received a call from this man who's disturbed, and they went to see him on the scene. And on the scene, they found that the suspect, of course, he was gone, right? That's why he told them to hold it. Zachary John Ellis, 25, from Hannon, Ontario, got arrested by the cops. He was then met by the investigators of major crimes from Rimouski. Okay? So what was in the bag? It seems like it was cane, guys. What the heck? Then some new elements got added into this weird situation. A few new elements. Sorry, I thought I read two. Well, a few new elements happened. What are they? New witnesses informed the police that they also found bags filled with stupefyers abandoned on the road on the side of the road, not in town, but in the country. So people driving around found, somehow they got curious. They saw a bag on the side of the road. They stopped their cars. They went to check what's inside the bag, and they saw some stupefyers in those bags. And then they contacted the cops. A little bit later, an F-150 was found abandoned in the parking lot of a bowling hall in La Pocatière, a bowling place, a big parking lot, They found the F-150 parked there. Now, thanks to numerous surveillance camera, it's an establishment, a business, commercial activity. There's going to be cameras everywhere. Thanks to that, the provincial police were able to determine that there were 3 other suspects implicated in this crazy run, right? And they were able to find out that these 3 other suspects got on board of a bus in direction of Montreal. Okay. So it goes from New Brunswick with people, at least one of them's from Toronto, but some reason they went to rob someone in New Brunswick. And after they finished the job, they fled to Quebec. And somewhere along the way, I think they got chased by the cops. The cops identified that, that vehicle's the stolen vehicle from New Brunswick. We got an alert. They started to chase the guys. There were 3 of them, or maybe 4, but they said 3 other suspects, so they had to be at least 4. The main guy and the 3 others. And then they got chased by the cops. The cops didn't succeed. They parked the car at a bowling place, in the parking lot of the bowling place, and they separated each other. 3 of them were seen on cameras getting on board of a bus. So wherever they stopped in Quebec, I think it was Rimouski, I'm not sure. Whatever the case, they were somewhere in Quebec, not Montreal. Then they took a bus in direction of Montreal, 3 of them. That other one guy, I don't know. He got arrested on the spot after he tried to hand off the goods that he had. Obviously, he didn't have all of it. Some of it was, remember, left on the country road. Obviously, before they ditched the F-150 while they were being chased by the cops. That's the only reason they ditched it, because they thought they might get caught. And anything's better than getting caught, right? They're willing to lose all that money and risk their lives. It's like, whatever, At least I don't get caught by the cops, I guess. But one of the guys still had it on him. I don't know what. He went to see a stranger or he went to see a friend. He handed him the bag. Whatever the case may be, that person was not happy with being shoved this down his throat. So he called the cops. The cops arrived on the scene. I obviously didn't tell the guy. He kept him nearby as long as he could, I guess. Or he knew where the last suspect was going to be, and the one who handed it to him. And he basically trapped him. The cops arrived. They managed to get him. They managed to get the other guy. So that's the summary of what just happened. Where are we here? See if we got anything else. Oh, look. Arrested in Montreal. So those 3 suspects. Let's see. To their big surprise, the 3 men who had fled were being waited on. The cops were waiting for them. They knew which bus they took. They were waiting in downtown for the bus to land, it seems. All of them were arrested. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Imagine you taking the bus. You think you're scot-free now. And all you need to do is that bus probably, there's a good chance that bus lands in, what do you call it? Berry-UQAM. There's a big station where there's trains that come in, and lots of these tour buses, or I forgot what you call them, these autocars, I don't know what you call them, but a lot of them like to do the meetup spot over there. A lot of them go over there. So there's a good chance that that's where they got. So they landed there. The cops were waiting. Oh my God, that's terrible, man. The worst day of your life. So they got him. And so Ellis is in his 20s, and they're saying the other suspects are also aged in their 20s. And they're all from Ontario. So you're not even free. You can go rob New Brunswick. And then you could tell yourself, we're from Ontario. Let's not go back to Ontario. Let's go somewhere that we don't belong, And they come to Quebec, and they think they're safe because it's French. And they get busted here, too. You can't run. You can run, but you can't hide, man. They were prepared. So, let's see what we got here. All right. In total, the SQ put their hands on 18 keys of cane. Now, the question is, remember, they were talking about a robbery. This whole story started when they robbed that F-150. Wait. Either the F-150 was robbed. Yeah, the F-150 was robbed. It was robbed. What a stupid thing to do. You rob a vehicle and you transport cane in it. That's such a reckless idea, man. Note, that's literally the reason you got busted. Now, what put the cops on? Yeah, the cops were looking for that vehicle. Let me just double check. I want to double check something. I want to make sure. I want to reread and be 100% sure if it was stolen. Maybe I misread it here, because that would be very stupid. And you can't be that dumb. Okay, no. My apologies. It actually, what it says is the F-150 that's licensed in Ontario would have been implicated in a robbery or a theft. Okay, makes a lot more sense. So it's just that they went on a mission. Now the question for me, this is what I'm wondering here. The F-150 was not robbed. It belongs to one of the guys probably. But the cops were put on notice to look for this F-150 because they committed a robbery. That means, in other words, this 18 kilos of cane was the robbery. Because would you go rob you wouldn't do this. I'm just saying, put yourself in their shoe. If you were going to go rob people's homes, for example, or go rob a diamond shop, or go rob somebody, would you then after you finish the robbery, immediately after, go and put 18 kilos of cane inside of your truck? Is that the time to do this? You know, you would think that if you scored something else, you would take a break tonight. You'd have to stop. All you want to do is stop this whole madness. You're not going to add a cane, another risk in your car. That looks like they were robbing a dealer there from New Brunswick, and they were from Ontario. They went from Ontario somewhere to rob people. That's interesting, isn't it? Well, those people are going to find out how many people got 18 keys robbed and 23 keys of hash. Anyways, that's my theory so far. They did not say anything so far. But you know me, I like to read between the lines, and you tell me if what I'm thinking is reasonable or not. They had just committed a robbery with an F-150, and the cops got put on notice that that's the vehicle implicated in the robbery, and then they're just looking for the car. They might not even know it's cane, probably didn't even have an idea. I don't know. Next thing they know, there's cane, 18 keys of cane inside of that. I don't know, man. I don't believe in coincidences too much. Next article, just going to read quick. Says, Couscous, what's up, buddy? My friend, thanks a lot, my friend. Hell yeah. When you take a break, don't interrupt your talking, though. I appreciate it. Not sure exactly what you mean when you take break. But when I take break from the channel, if I do, I'm not sure what you mean. But I appreciate it, but I'll do my best, man, to explain things as I'm doing. I'm glad you enjoy this, man. And let's keep going. Thank you, Couscous. I appreciate it. Oh, man. Okay, now we're getting into the real stuff I wanted to share with you tonight. Frick. Okay. You guys remember the news that we covered together? Remember the cryptocurrency kid in his 20s? He was a so-called, may he rest in peace, I was saying this before he passed away. And I would say that if it wasn't him or if it was somebody else, There's nothing against the kid on a personal level. I just personally do not respect any of those financial guru experts, I don't care who it is for the cryptocurrency stuff, I'm not a fan of those, They become experts. The stock market has been going up for the last 10, 11 years, You just had to buy most of anything, it would have went up, Just had to not make a big mistake when down there. But a lot of people, they think they're experts. But they rode the wave, They rode the wave. But that kid, 20-year-old, people were looking up to him. He had a following online. He was an expert, And but the expert pissed off somebody. A or B. He put too much. He flashed all his wealth online. That's A. And somebody tried to rob him. Or B. He gave out that expert advice, and people got, and a lot of them are con artists too, man. Lots of people online who are giving coaching advice and things like this are con artists. They're selling you motivation, and they're charging you like I heard about Wes Watson. If anyone doesn't know, YouTube Wes Watson. It's shocking to me how people fall for that stuff. But anyhow, he pissed off somebody who fell for it, and later, once you realize that you really got played, by a kid too. Oh man, that's gotta piss you off, because it's a reflection on yourself. It's a reflection on yourself that you were the dummy here. It's hard to accept, But either way, either he pissed someone off, or he what was I gonna say? Either he pissed someone. Yeah, I'll leave it there. My memory's gone. He pissed. Let's just say he may have pissed somebody off, or they were trying to rob him. Okay, now. What does that have to do with the underworld, Forger? You just spent 5 minutes talking about this guy. You talked about him when it happened. So what's the point? Has anything to do with the underworld, Forger? Well. That's what I thought too. But, I like to check under every rock, because we derive lessons once in a while. Once in a while, we learn of something that'll help us understand something else. Is that the case here? No, it's a lot better than that. It's actually related to the underworld. You heard that right? So let's get into it. One suspect arrested here. All right, but they arrested a bunch of people. But that's one of them here. His name is Guillaume Nobert. But he's wanted. My apologies. He's wanted. Remember, the influencers, they found the influencer's body, remains, in Antique-Cartierville recently. And a 32-year-old woman was arrested. Do you remember that? Okay, good. Now, look at this, my friend. I want to show you something. So, she didn't go there alone. She does not have the muscle to pull that off. They went to the old port inside of the guy's condo, luxury condo, I think. And there was the Kevin Mirshahi, the victim, went to a bar, and he went to the bar with friends, with chicks and guys. Yeah, I think he made new friends there, and then he brought them back home. Right? They were gonna continue getting drunk, and you know how it works. And suddenly, the door, the buzzer rings. They let the people, whoever it was, come upstairs. The people come upstairs, and they hold them hostage. Now, there was like 4 or 5 people who had nothing to do with any of this. But they got all kidnapped. They all got kidnapped. And within that week, maybe within a day, I'm not sure, but definitely within that week, the other people were released. Those people were not completely vicious people. They were reasonable to a certain degree. They were very reasonable. They didn't hurt innocent. Like let's put it this way: in a sense, they did not hurt the innocent people. I'm not saying Kevin is not innocent. You know, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying here. You understand what I'm trying to explain here. They left them alone. Kevin, we didn't hear from him in a while. Well, they offed Kevin. If you just wanted to rob Kevin, why would you off Kevin? That's my question here. If you just wanted to rob the guy, why would you off the guy? Could just ask his money right there and then and take the stuff. It seems like it's a little bit more vicious than that. And this lady could not have pulled that all by herself. And that's where it comes in, my friend. Let me show you. Well known from the cops. The actual muscle. You know, I have a joke here when I say that there's women cops and there's men cops. Lots of times when there's a danger, a real danger, they never send the woman alone. It's always with the guys. And at the end of the day, they all get paid the same, but it's the guys who are taking the true risk. That's the guys who are really handling the job. You know, never heard of this sending like 4 women and into a very dangerous. All of them take care of this. They send the dudes, you know. Here's the same similar scenario. She's one of them, but it's the muscle. Who's the muscle here? Well known by the officers. Darius Perry and Nakil Hickey would be tied to the street gang, the Rolling 90s, who is taking more and more place in the criminal underworld, especially in the West Island. Do you remember the Rolling 90s? Do you remember I showed you the photo of a Rolling 90s with Arab power leader? Do you remember that photo? He was bare-chested. There was the black dude and there was the Arab power guy. The black dude looked like he was giving the instructions on what to do, and it looked like the Arab power was reporting to him. That's what it looked like to me in the photo. But regardless, remember the Rolling 90s guy, he's got charged for a murder in Ontario. A murder of who? Of a Hell's Angel. Remember that? When they drove to Ontario to off that Hell's Angel? That's the Rolling 90s. Now, what do you see here? Part of the kidnapping plot for Kevin Mirshahi. What is the Rolling 90s doing here? Darius Perry and Nakil Hickey. Now, here's something even crazier. This is not even where it got crazy to me. Speaking of what I said earlier, remember how I told you I like sometimes I like to cover things that are not totally related? Or they seem completely unrelated. And no, I'm not smart enough to have figured it out in advance. I could have never known this. But I try to derive lessons. Well, guess what? If you skip those videos, well, you can't appreciate this as the other people. You may not even know it happened. There's another story that had nothing to do with anything, it would seem. I'll tell you which one. You remember, guys, in West Island, a few months back, there was a street gang member that went to, who drove to West Island to meet his friend, his buddy. And when he got there, he was pissed at him. Something happened. They got into an argument. He pulled out his, was it a 9? And he started to blast his friend. Or he already got into a fight. Well, people called the cops. The cops arrived. The cops were on their way. While that happened, there was a family who had just, remember this? The family, the Arabic family, innocent, good people. They arrived. They parked their car. They came back from camping. They came back from camping for a couple of days, I think. There's the father, the daughter, and the son. And they parked themselves nearby. Now, the street gang member, he got into the altercation. The cops arrived, and he started to run away. And he wanted to escape. He pulled a 9 on the family. Remember, the kid was with his father. And it seems like he was trying to ask them for their vehicle so he can escape the cops, it seems like. But one thing led to the other. The police arrived on the scene. The police saw him. The police, they were so stupid, they couldn't figure out that what the people near him was a father and 2 children. So the police didn't care. They took their 9 out, their tools out, and they started to blast at them. And the gang member was blasting back at the cops. And guess who got touched? The father. The father covered his children, and he got popped. The family was traumatized by that. That the cops arrived, and the cops treated them like criminals, the victims. Even after it happened, they didn't show any compassion to them. They were still treating him as suspects as he was leaking on the ground. That's unbelievable. Yeah, but you that's a lot of Montreal police for you, you know. Unfortunately, you know, I don't like to paint them all like this, but they're known here for being extremely rude, condescending, and demeaning, you know. Oh man, looks like my chat. Okay, well, my chat almost disconnected. So if you guys messaged something, I didn't see it for a bit. My apologies. But now, why I'm telling you all this. Remember, that street gang member. You already guessed. It's one of these 2. You heard that right. The cops arrived. After that shootout between the cops and him, and the family was in the middle, and the dad got hurt. Almost got offed. He protected his son. That's a beautiful father right there. And remember, the family went on the news. We saw him. I translated that for you. So that was completely unrelated to anything, it would seem. Had nothing to do with this. Guess what? Well, that guy who was arrested. Guess who got charged later on for the kidnapping of Mirshahi? Yes. One of these 2. Unbelievable, no? Look, Hickey was on the news this summer when he was implicated in an incredible shootout of rare violence between the police and the residential neighborhood of Dollard-des-Ormeaux in the West Island. West Island, rolling 90s script, that's the area, friend. I have to block this. And he says the father protected his 18-year-old son. Remember that? Crazy, huh? How everything ties together. So a lot of you would see me cover that, and you would say, "Yeah, I'm skipping this. It's not important." Well, now you don't see how big of a deal this was. Crazy for the rest. Me, I was shocked when I found this out. It's incredible. Makes me not want to skip anything at all, you know. But of course, I gotta skip some stuff. Can't cover absolutely everything. But it says here that Nakil, so it's Nakil Hickey. Nakil Hickey would still be in detention for his implication in that shootout when the cops arrived in his cell in order to charge him for the offing of Kevin Mirshahi, the cryptocurrency kid, who they found his remains like a few weeks ago, who was kidnapped in the Old Port, which seemingly had nothing to do with any of this. Now you got to ask yourself the following questions. Why was Rolling 90s kidnapping this cryptocurrency kid? Who hired them to come do this job? They've been acting like mercenaries these past few years when you check the news. It checks out. They've been receiving contracts, offing Hell's Angels, it seems. Or even giving contracts to the Arab power, it looked like to me. So who gave them this contract? Wouldn't that be the logical conclusion? Someone gave them the contract to come here, or not, or maybe by themselves they were checking YouTube and they decided we need to hit a score, and they saw this kid as easy food. What do you think? I really don't know. What do you think? We'll probably get answers to that. That's why I'm asking these questions. All right, it continues. We got two more, man. I told you I kept the best for the last. You know, it's mind-blowing stuff for me. Let's see what I got here. Can I...
Maintenant, parlons de cette opération policière qui est survenue hier soir dans un club-école des Hells Angels à Bécancour, dans le centre du Québec.
There was an important police operation that happened. Says this article is from the 20th Wednesday, right? So I'm assuming it's probably on Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night it says here. So they raided a underling puppet club of the Hells Angels, a biker club. Which one is it? I hope it's not Marauders again.
Alors, le groupe tactique est débarqué à cet endroit avec une
is that Marauders? It looked like
centaine de
Marauders.
Policiers. Félix Séguin est avec nous. Bonjour, Félix.
Bonjour.
So we got Félix Séguin who's going to talk.
Grosse opération qui a mené finalement à une arrestation. Qu'est-ce qu'on voulait exactement?
Grosse opération, petit club de motards. Je pourrais résumer ça.
Okay.
Big police operation against a small biker club.
Okay.
Mais en fait, il y a plein de trucs intéressants quand même là-dedans. Hier...
Yes, there's lots of interesting things about this news. Then he goes, yesterday,
vers 18h45 environ,
at approximately 6:45 p.m.,
80 policiers là, de l'escouade régionale mixte, entre autres, là, donc plusieurs corps de police rassemblés
says about 80 officers descended.
En escouade, qui ont décidé d'aller visiter le club-école des Hells Angels de la région de Trois-Rivières qui s'appelle...
Oh, good. It has nothing to do with the Marauders one. This one's fresh. Good. So about 80 police officers descended in Trois-Rivières. Okay, that's on the other side. Now we're talking more along, closer to the red zone. These are the guys that would be, how could I say, more in conflict with Alboivin, BFM, and all of them. So the cops are targeting a puppet club, if you will, underling club of the Hells Angels, not the Hells Angels. But which one we'll find out.
Les Satan's Crew. Alors,
did he just say Satan's Crew? My apologies.
Région de Trois-Rivières qui s'appelle les Satan's Crew.
Satan's Crew.
Alors, ils ont visité la maison, non, ils ont visité le lieu de rassemblement également.
They went to the reunion spot, so their makeshift bunker, if you will.
Et puis, ils ont fait une arrestation.
They made an arrest.
Entre autres, un homme de Wallinac, donc un territoire autochtone situé non loin, qui a été arrêté parce qu'il avait sur lui, il semble, on verra si ça tient la route là, devant le tribunal, une arme chargée. Alors lui, il a été arrêté.
So they arrested one of them. That he's a resident. Well, he's part of the bikers, but he was a resident of a First Nations reserve. He lives at, and he got arrested because he had a tool on him.
Il y a d'autres membres aussi qui ont été questionnés.
Other members were also questioned.
Intéressant, les Satan's Crew, c'est chez eux qu'avait eu lieu la rencontre post-fusillade ou post-tentative d'attentat au bunker des Hells Angels de Trois-Rivières.
All right. So, interesting fact. So, these are the Satans. Was it Satan? I forgot what he called it.
Des Hells Angels d'attentat au bunker des fusillades ou post-fusillade ou la rencontre chez eux. C'est chez eux. Les Satan's Crew.
Satan's Crew. So, he's saying that, interestingly enough, do you remember the Three River chapter was attacked earlier a few weeks ago? We covered that. They were under attack. I think they got rounds being set off at it or something like that. And it wasn't the first time. So definitely BFM versus them or Arab Power versus them. When that happened, they called an emergency meeting, the Hells Angels. Where do you think they carried that emergency meeting? At this bunker of the Satan's, forgot the name already. I just made him repeat the name. I forgot. But this club has Satan's, Satan's Crew.
C'est chez eux qu'avait eu lieu la rencontre post-fusillade ou post-tentative d'attentat au bunker des Hells Angels de Trois-Rivières. Alors,
so immediately after their bunker got attacked, the Hells Angels had an emergency meeting at Satan's Crew's bunker.
C'est un club qui est très, très, très aligné sur le club maître, c'est-à-dire le seul...
He says, this is a club that's very, he says, this is his words, it's a club that is very, very, very aligned with its mother organization, the Hells Angels.
Lui des Hells Angels, on pourrait dire ça ainsi.
Est-ce que, bon, ça s'est passé à des heures assez particulières. Normalement, ce type d'opération policière, ça survient très tôt le matin.
Oui, c'est vrai, hein?
It says, so this happened, usually it happens in the very early morning hours, right?
Mais là, ce qu'on voulait faire, on se posait la question toute la journée, mais pourquoi à 18h45 le soir?
Yeah. So note, sorry, I got lost there. So she was saying, don't these operations usually, as we've seen, always happen in the very early hours of the morning? But you just told us that it actually happened at 6:45 p.m. So what's up with that?
On est habitué de voir les groupes tactiques d'intervention, Julie, à 5h, 6h le matin pour bénéficier de l'effet de surprise.
He confirms, says, yeah, usually that's how it works out, right? So you can surprise them in the early morning hours.
Parce que sinon, a-t-on appris que c'était simplement parce que, en fait, 18h45, 18h30, c'est le moment où se rencontrent les Hells Angels de ce club, pas les Hells Angels, mais les membres de ce club école des Hells Angels.
So the reason that they chose 6:45 is they were trapping them. They don't meet at 6 in the morning. They're meeting at 6:45 p.m. So they wanted all of them to be there present, you know? There you go, guys. Change your hours. Make it 6 a.m. Let's see what happens then.
Donc, on voulait un peu jouer les fauteurs de troubles là, à la réunion mensuelle ou hebdomadaire.
So the police was trying to harass them, in a sense. Make them uncomfortable.
Alors,
une arrestation pour l'instant.
Only one arrest for the moment. So the question is, why did you raid him? You're not going to waste your time going and raiding Satan's crew just to get one guy having the tool on him. There's got to be something behind this. There has to be, you know. There's no doubt about that. They didn't take 80. They took 80 officers to go there for a reason. All right, let's see if sometimes there's extra information there. Usually there is. Usually, and a few times when we read it, we found some awesome information we would have missed. I like to double check. So who's Satan's crew, or what they do? So we got Satan's crew installed themselves on Prince in Bécancour in May of 2024. So just recently is when they installed themselves there. So it's a new place for them, May of 2024. And of course, the members of the Three River chapter have been seen over there. So here you go, you know. Forgot the names. But we have to remember this. Satan's crew, they are going to be the arms and legs of the Hells Angels for taking care of business, basically. For the Three River chapter, we got to remember that. For the Three River chapter, we also had, there's always the word Satan, you know, or devils. Devils, I forgot. There's another one called devils, something else. I forgot that, man. They sound all the same to me, man. Anyhow, so they're targeting them. So BFM's enemies are being targeted by the officers, you know. All right, yeah, here we got more here. A big operation against Satan's crew in Bécancour. So we can extract any more juice from this. So they wanted more than what they got, obviously. One person, that's pitiful.
Saviez-vous que les Hells Angels ont maintenant un club-école en Mauricie et au centre...
All right, nice. I'm just trying to not blow your ears off here.
...du Québec. Le 20 novembre dernier, la Sûreté du Québec a fait une démonstration de force en perquisitionnant le repère des Satan's Crew situé. Les Hells Angels ont maintenant... Saviez-vous que les Hells Angels ont maintenant un club-école en Mauricie et au centre du Québec?
Did you know that the Hells Angels now have an underling club that have their they moved to where was it?
Ont maintenant un club-école en Mauricie et au centre du Québec.
In Mauricie and the middle of Quebec. I think they're talking about Quebec City, they got to be talking about there. Right?
Le 20 novembre...
Or the middle of the Quebec province. I'm not sure what he means.
Le dernier, la Sûreté du Québec a fait une démonstration de force en perquisitionnant le repère des Satan's Crew situé à Bécancour, secteur Saint-Grégoire.
So he says in last November they They investigated the bunker of Satan's crew. Now, I don't know why he's saying last November. You got to be talking about this November.
Ce qu'on sait de cette bande de motards-là, c'est
So what do we know about this specific biker club?
qu'ils ont élu domicile dans cette maison du chemin Prince à Bécancour.
So what we do know about them is that they decided to install themselves in Bécancour. You know, and we just found out it was May of 2024, freshly installed here.
Et ils sont dans le portrait du crime organisé depuis environ 1 an.
They are in the underworld. They were part of the underworld picture of that area for at least for the last 1 year. It's new.
Au début de l'été, ce groupe-là, qui constitue la relève des Hells Angels, comptait environ une douzaine de membres.
In the beginning of the summer, this crew was approximately 12 or 11. I'm not sure if he said 11 or 12 members.
Et la police de Trois-Rivières nous confirme qu'ils sont observés régulièrement dans les restaurants et les bars du centre-ville de Trois-Rivières.
And the police confirmed that they are watching them, and they have noticed their presence more and more inside of the downtown of Trois-Rivières, eating at restaurants, etc.
Ceci dit, leur territoire dépasse largement la Mauricie et le centre du Québec.
Ils ont des
And it needs to be noted that their territory is much bigger bigger than just the middle of Quebec or Mauricie. They gotta have more than that.
liens avec différentes régions du Québec. C'est
She says they're linked to various regions of Quebec.
pourquoi l'opération d'aujourd'hui, ça fait suite à une perquisition à Gatineau.
Oh, there you go. It says, and just to tell you how far, because he said different regions of Quebec. We're talking about Mauricie, right? Centre du Québec. She just told us that all the way to Gatineau. Now, Gatineau is nowhere near there. Gatineau is at the extreme west of Quebec, practically on the border of near Ontario. That's on the other side totally.
Donc, des liens avec des gens de l'Outaouais, des liens avec interrégionaux.
Et c'est un groupe à prendre au sérieux selon la Sûreté du Québec. C'est
It's a group that you should be taking very seriously according to the SQ.
ce qui a justifié le déploiement policier assez impressionnant. C'est le groupe tactique d'intervention qui est arrivé en premier. Ils ont trouvé 5 membres en règle.
So
âgés
when they
entre 25 et
arrived,
50.
when they arrived on the scene, they found 5 full patched members there, aged between 25 to 29, or to 59, my apologies.
59 ans. Et là-dedans, il y en a un qui était armé d'un pistolet, alors il a été arrêté.
So one of them was arrested, you know that.
L'homme qui a été arrêté, il a 47 ans et c'était un résident de Wallinac. D'ailleurs, les membres des Satan's Crew proviendraient de Trois-Rivières, de Bécancour et de Wallinac.
So the members of this Satan's crew live either in that First Nation reserve, the Wallinac, or they live in Bécancour, that actual city where they installed their bunker, if you will. So either one or the other.
Notamment. Et dans cette perquisition, la Sûreté du Québec a saisi une autre arme à feu, donc 2, une veste pare-balles ainsi que plusieurs items, des objets à l'effigie de bandes de motards hors la loi. Cette
Obviously, he says they didn't just seize the 2 Glocks, they also seized their vests, bro.
perquisition-là survient sous fond de tension dans le milieu du crime organisé au Québec. D'ailleurs, dans la nuit du 19 novembre à Trois-Rivières, une maison a été incendiée, un incendie criminel. Et ce qu'on sait, c'est qu'elle appartenait jusqu'à cet été à un homme proche du crime organisé. Et l'une des
So on the 19th of November, a property, I guess, in that area or in that zone was set ablaze. And what they know is that that property, up to recently, was how you say, it was held, or the ownership of it was a player in the criminal underworld landscape in that area. So someone thought he was getting at him, and he torched the place, you know, but I think he sold it. It's no longer his, I think.
hypothèses de la police de Trois-Rivières, c'est le règlement de compte.
So one of the hypotheses of the police for that one is that this was a settlement. They were trying to punish the guy, a settlement of account.
Le problème là-dedans, c'est que la maison avait été achetée par des honnêtes citoyens.
The problem with that settling of account is that it hurt honest people because the guy no longer owned it. It was regular people who had bought it. So you hurt them.
Cet été, et les criminels qui ont mis le feu à cette maison l'ignoraient probablement.
And he says they probably didn't know when they did that. Damn.
Saviez-vous que
Sorry about that. So yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Well, heavy stuff, huh? We covered tons of heavy stuff today. There's lots of them. It doesn't end, man. Look at that. We got Marauders, we got Satan's Crew, we had Rolling 90s, we connected Rolling 90s somehow, it happened. Somehow, magically, it happened. We connected Rolling 90s to that innocent family shootout in the West Island that happened, that seemed to have nothing to do with any of that. We connected it to the kidnapping of the cryptocurrency kid Kevin Mirshahi, whose remains was found a few weeks ago, who was kidnapped a few months ago in the Old Port. What else? We had arrests of Keys of Cain. Remember the guys with the F-150 who seemingly robbed people in New Brunswick, but they're from Ontario. They went to New Brunswick to do a mission. They decided to, instead of going back to Ontario, they decided to come to Quebec. But the Quebec cops were ready. They were looking for that vehicle, and they had to toss out, 19 keys of cane? They had to toss out approximately 19 keys of cane. At least part of it, they didn't toss out. Three of them took the bus to Montreal. One of them, I don't know how, but he found somebody, and he told them, please hold this. And that was his downfall. Because the cops didn't catch him when they fled. Because the cops found the car and they were fleeing, right? But they fled. And they managed to successfully escape. His mistake was, they tossed I guess they tossed most of it out in the country road. That they couldn't be connected to them. But he held a piece, and he decided that he wasn't going to throw the whole thing. He still wanted to keep a piece of it, which is reasonable, but he chose the wrong guy, and he gave it to him. It seems like he should have respected the other guy when the other guy said, are you crazy? Come on, man, I don't want to really hold this. Please, bro, I'm not good with this. It looks like he still shoved it down his throat, and that cost him big time, because this guy was having none of it. He couldn't sleep. He called the cops, and he got busted. And that one bus led them to busting the three other dudes who were still on the bus on the way to Montreal, and the cops were waiting at the terminal as they arrived. You can't make this stuff up, man. Absolutely crazy. We had other six locations raided on another stupefier bust in the red zone again. And then we had a suspect, 27-year-old. We don't have more information than that, but an attempted offing in the red zone again, but we don't know who the players are. And we had another 5 people arrested in Chicoutimi Nord, and the funny thing is 3 of them seems like they're from Alboavin's area. I'm not saying they're part of their gang, but what are the chances? 2 vehicles packed with heat driving around the city, and in Saguenay or around Saguenay. Was it Chicoutimi Nord? 3 of them from Saguenay. But they're dealing, but we found out, we had the confirmation that they were part of a stupefier trafficking network anyhow, and they were packing heat, 2 vehicles following each other. What was about to go down, They didn't find stupefiers in the vehicle. They found they were heavily armed, What were they about to do, man? What were they about to do? Who knows? Man, it just keeps piling up. It doesn't end, man. Satan's Crew, Marauders, and that investigation undercover against the Marauders. So someone from the Marauders met, it seems, or his dealer in his pipeline who was re-upping from him. Well, somewhere down the line between these two, they met an infiltration agent 22 times to sell them keys, and they found out that they were stashing their keys inside of 2 businesses. One of them was, or at least one, he said 2 businesses, right? They said the wording was a transportation company and a moving company. And fittingly, inside of those warehouses that they have those trucks, they found inside one of those U-Hauls, I can't remember, a tractor trailer, I forgot the word was, man. They found that they were stashing the keys of Cain inside of there. And the truck was inside of one of their hang-around places, like their bunker, or a makeshift bunker. Not a real bunker, but, they have their bar there, their television, they're serving drinks right there. All of this, man. Crazy, man. All of this it never ends in Quebec. You keep getting more news. Crazy. She says, Mr. Green Thumb says, just wait to hear what bust happened in Ontario concerning Montreal. Yeah, exactly, man. We're going to find the news about this. You're damn right. You've been here with us for a while now, Mr. Green Thumb. We're going to be rereading about this news in the future, and our jaws will drop, and we're going to have that aha moment. And you'll also be able to see when we together try to guess what happened, if we're right. That's the game, That's the game. We try to guess, and we have fun with it. Try to guess, have fun with it, and laugh how crazy things are getting, unfortunately. Riz Gold says, I thought the same when I saw the pic. It looked like Ataki was receiving orders. Yes, exactly, huh? Yeah, I felt the same way as you, Riz Gold. That's what it looked like to me in that picture. And even the sequence of events of the cops following them, the way it was explained, you remember? Everything fit beautifully to explain that picture of the way me and you are interpreting it. Everything fit perfectly like that. We're not pulling that out of nowhere and hoping it's that, There's a sequence of facts of what was going on while they took that picture. And remember, he went to off somebody, and then he came back to see the guy, and he had that meeting right there, and you could see they're talking about what just happened. And right before that, he went to the river and he roofed the gun, and the cops saw him do it. And then he went to see this man, and they were walking side by side, talking to each other. The guy on the left looks much older, and he's from a gang that existed way before Arab Power. So you feel there's a seniority there. He started somewhere. This was probably his plug in the game, in the system, and he's paying it goes down that's a pipeline there, if you will. That's a pipeline in your front of your eyes. What it looks like. Anyways, man, very interesting stuff. Thank you, DJ, for helping me out, but I really do appreciate that. If you guys like you like this type of content and everything, I told you I'm shadow banned, so what could it hurt you to hit like or dislike on the video? What could it hurt you? Do that. Help me out, and try to convince this algorithm to help me out here. And for those of you who can, you got a little funds. It means nothing to you. Become a donor to the mission, because like I told you, I'm not gonna probably do this forever as it's going now, but the more people here, eventually I might change my mind. I'll be able to at least get something. Right now I'm getting absolute pennies from this. Some months I got really lucky, like the Gregory Woolley month. That was unusual, but it wasn't much, but it was a lot more than a few bucks a month. When I say few, I do mean few. Well, unless there's something like that happens. But, yeah, I spent hours on this. Don't want to keep going forever, I'll be honest. If you want this to continue, and you can afford it. Don't do it if you can't afford it. You're struggling. Don't even feel guilty. You do your thing. I completely get it. I'm struggling. But if it's nothing for you at all, you laugh at this money. It's nothing for you. It's like a price of coffee. It's nothing. Join in. Help me out, as long as you want to, of course. I'd appreciate it. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much. How's everyone doing? Chris Henley. The question is, how are you doing? We're happy to have you. And so, shout out to Anthony Serrano. What's up, bro? Happy to have you. Chris Hensley. Mr. Green Thumb from Ottawa. What up, pal? Where are we at? DJ. Riz Gold. Thank you for being here too, man. I appreciated your comment. I love having friendly people here with us. Couscous, of course. Couscous, been here for a long time. Martin Bilodeau, comment ça va, bro? Marcel Mathers, Man in the Middle, and DC, of course, DC. Thank you for letting me know the sound volume. I appreciate that when it was cutting off earlier. All right, have a great night, guys. Everyone, shout out to everyone. And Seb 5142. Seb 5142. Thanks a lot, buddy. And Sleeping Joe. I almost forgot Sleeping Joe. And the other 40 people or 39 people that are here, you too, buddy. I appreciate you. And Fear the Most High. I almost forgot Fear the Most High. What's up, Fear the Most High? And oh yeah, Buddy Rowe. Buddy Rowe, how are you, pal? Happy to have you with us, man. Thank you so much, pal. I really, really appreciate you. Thanks a lot, man, for helping me out, man. God bless, man. Exactly. God bless right back at you. Oh, man. And, take care of yourselves. And don't get fooled by Justin, the con man Trudeau. He had 8 years to do something, and he ruined what Canada was like, ruined everyone's standard of living. And now he's going to give you a tiny $250 thing so you can vote for him again. He thinks you're stupid. He thinks that you're only worth $250. which you're going to spend on one fine when you humanly make a mistake on the road and they catch you. And they'll give you a fine that'll cost more than that. Or you'll go do a quarter of your grocery and it's already gone. He thinks that's what you're worth. But the future of your kids wasn't worth much, you know, and he didn't do. It was nothing wrong with any of the stuff he did, ruining it and ignoring you while you were screaming on top of your lungs, saying this is horrible. What's going on? He was gaslighting you. It was totally fine when he was doing that to you. When you needed his help the most, that's when he was giving you the middle finger. You know. Now you're only worth $250. Here you go. Funny how that, huh? Spoiled rich kids should not be politicians. Those who grew up with a silver spoon on their mouth should not be responsible or expected to solve problems from people who are struggling. You know, he was born with a silver spoon, and that's what you get. You know, I still can't believe people vote for people who grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth. I don't get it. You know, magically. He has a very low compassion for you. He didn't do anything for you. It didn't matter. Anyways, my apologies for the rant. God bless everyone, guys. Thank you for being here. Have a great night.